Holy shit. Fine. Yeah, so I'm going to be reading from the story that's in the journal. It's too long, so I'm going to read maybe about half of it. You can't take her back to where she once was. You hate what she's become. It's 2 in the morning and she's just come home from who knows where and woken you up to show you. You're sitting on the edge of your bed and she's standing there in that doorway, just looking at you like she owes you no explanation, with her hip out to the side, with her hand on it. The clothes she's wearing, a black crop top exposing her bare midriff, and a tight pair of black jeans, like it's the 90s again. She wasn't even born yet in the 90s. It's the 30s, the 2030s. And you know she's not wearing that short shirt for fashion. She's showing off her new, shiny stomach. You say, "Those are your mother's clothes, Sammy." "I know," she says. "I found them in the closet. They fit me perfectly." Samantha's right, they do. In fact, her resemblance to her mother is striking. "What have you become, Sammy?" you want to say. "I don't even know you anymore." You remember way back, when it was the 90s, back when you were young. Yeah, sure, you rebelled against your parents too, but back then, what was the worst you could do? Kids these days, they don't get tattoos anymore, they get body replacements. Like you used to do to your car. You remember one summer you saved up to put a spoiler in your Honda Civic. The damn thing. Fucking Honda Civics, man. The damn thing couldn't even hit 80 on the freeway. Nowadays, kids save up to put new eyes into their heads, new brains. There's just so much more at stake now. You want to tell her that. You want to tell her that it's not just her body, it's her humanity too. You say, "Why can't you just get your belly button pierced?" She touches her shiny new midsection, polished in silver. If she made a fist of her hand and knocked on her stomach, it would make a sound like knocking on a refrigerator door. "Oh, Sammy," you say. You know how long she must have kept this secret from you. The hospital used to be a place people avoided. These days, there's a line out the door, and you've got to wait 2 months to get in. You know this because you looked into getting upgrades yourself once, a fact Sammy uses in her defense. She says, "Don't forget, Dad, you were obsessed with this stuff too." You've never argued with your daughter like this before, so you're not sure what kind of father you are. Are you the soft type who listens and carefully addresses his child's argument? Or are you the hard type who altogether ignores the words coming from his child's mouth? It's not safe, Sammy. Apparently you're the hard type. In frustration, Sammy flails her arms upward like whips cutting air. "What would your mother think?" you say. Sammy says, "Mom would have loved it." She's right. Charlie would have loved it. "It was exactly this type of procedure that took her away from us," you say. This shuts Sammy up, if only for a little while. There are noticeable lumps bulging from underneath her new chassis. Inner scaffolding, it's called. Apparently not yet done with the procedure. 2, maybe 3 more visits to go. You sigh, you rub your head, you groan and stand up and pace the room, then you sit back down again. What's done is done. Resign yourself to your child's new body. Eventually, you ask her what she augmented. "My stomach," she says. She corrects herself. "Well, my whole digestive system." "What about it?" you ask. Sammy's face lightens with a smile. You're showing interest rather than resentment. This is all she wants, really. She's still self-conscious. She puts her hand over her new chassis as if she is with child. She says, "I can control nutrient intake." You scratch your head and ask her what that means, even though you already know. She says, "Whatever I eat, the nutrients pop up on my heads-up display and I can choose what I want and don't want to absorb." You cringe as though this knowledge is causing you physical pain. "So you have new eyes, too?" "Of course, I need new eyes for the new stomach. Duh, Dad." You're still sitting, and now your daughter leaves the doorway and walks to you. "It's still heavy," she says, her hands still over her new stomach. She continues on about the perks of her augmentation, but you're barely listening. She tells you about how she can eat all the sweets she wants and not have to worry about diabetes. She tells you about how she has complete control over her weight and body shape now. She can drink as much as she wants, she tells you, then flush the alcohol from her system and drive home perfectly sober. You used to worry about me getting home, she says. Now you don't, Dad. I'll never be drunk again. Not uncontrollably, at least. Uncontrollably, you echo absently. She's standing over you now, and she leans in to give you a hug. Sitting there, you are her stomach's height, and as she reaches around to embrace you, you see a reflection there in the polish of her new abdominal plate. The closer she closes in, the wider your reflection expands, and suddenly it is touching your face. You and your reflection cheek to cheek, and you are pressed against the cold surface as your daughter clasps and pulls and tightens. You cannot breathe. Without thinking, you flinch and shove her away. She's not used to this new weight and can't adapt to it as you shove her off balance. As she falls sloppy as a drunkard, her arms swing in futile attempt to find equilibrium with the new mass within her. She grabs the lamp, the only light in the room, and brings it down with her. It falls and shatters. The world around you too dims. Your fallen daughter is looking at you, her face wide-eyed and watery, a child jilted. You want to comfort her, you really do, but you can still feel her new chassis upon your hands like a phantom weight. She is heavier than you've ever known her to be, and you know what's inside her, and it disgusts you. Thank you.